with Mercury 525s. Team Fastboat's running in P4. This boat Velocity running in P5. Steve and Stephen Kildall. Here are Key West locals. Rum Runner, Bobby Kieber and Al Culbertson. A 27-foot Scarab with a single 650 horsepower Geller engine and a Mercruiser stern drive. Currently running in first place. As we take Global Warmer to the finish line, Dan Davies and myself in a 42 fountain with 525s. First day's finish results for Global Warmer, third place by a second, but the win went to SWN Capital in P2. The winner in stock class was Steve Quick Jewelers. The winner in P4 was Team Unleashed. And the winner in P5 was Team Velocity. Next up, race number 2 on Wednesday. As we see some more activity from the boats heading out to the parades here in Key West. Saratoga Stampede, followed by the Hard Rock. And Global Warmer. Parade of fountains, all 42-foot fountains. Saratoga Stampede, Hard Rock, and Global Warmer. Here at the 29th running of the Key West World Championships for Superboat International. 3-race format. Half the points, half the distance on Wednesday, half the points, half the distance on Friday. The full race, full points on Sunday, combination of all the points to determine the World Championship in each class. Some of the other highlights of Key West include the toys that come with the teams. Dan Davies and my team. Dan, the owner of the team, this is one of the toys he brought along. This is a Suzuki Quad with a T58 turbine, modified with an afterburner. An incredible toy. 200 miles an hour. An unbelievable machine. Back to racing action on board JD Byrider as they get ready for their race in the Cat 750 category. Crew chief looking over the motors. Steve Curtis, throttleman from the Spirit of Qatar. Steve Curtis runs with Sheikh Hassan, a 45-foot Victory, a pair of 900 horsepower Schema engines, naturally aspirated, fuel injected. Steve Curtis from the UK. And there is Sheikh Hassan. All the way over from Qatar in their 45-foot victory. These boats are surprisingly quiet when they're at the dock. There is Team Fury, Ray Delaney. That is also a Doug Wright catamaran, just like you saw in the outboard boats. As the Spirit of Qatar pulls away, that is the Spirit of Qatar number 96. There's also a Spirit of Qatar number 95. As we see Global Warmer coming in from their race. Fujitsu Fury, Guy Costa and Ray Delaney. Guy Costa from Trinidad, Ray Delaney from Sarasota. The boats are in the milling area for the first race of the Big Cats. This is race number 2 for the event of this 3-race format, the first race of 3 for the Big Catamarans. As we look at our 850 boats, there is the number 95 Spirit of Qatar. This is the supercharged boat. Matteo Nicolini on the throttles in that boat. Team CRC with Mike DeFries and Johnny Tomlinson in the boat with him this week. As the Cigarette Geico Pace Boat lines the boats up for their start as they are heading out of the harbor. Green flag, we are underway, race number 2. As the Spirit of Qatar jumps off to an early lead, Talking Trash on the inside. Warpaint in the center of your screen. Team Fury coming up in between Ray Delaney and Guy Costa, but Team Warpaint and Talking Trash side by side. Team Fury pulls up in between the 3. Team Effusion, Jay Muller and Paul Boudreau, as they make their way around turn 1. It has gotten a little bit rougher since the morning race. Warpaint swings a little wide as they all make their way around turn 1. We look at Team Warpaint. That's a 38-foot Apache running in the 750 class. Bob Vesper and Danny Crank. We go back up to our leaders, Talking Trash. Jimmy Winters and Vinny Rafisi. First time back in the boat after an accident. Not holding back at all. Your leaders in the 750 class. Now overtaken by Team Warpaint on the outside. Team Effusion on the inside, back by a boat length as they all approach turn 2. Oh, Effusion hooks it just a little bit side by side with Team Talkin' Trash. Talkin' Trash has to push a little bit wide. Team Effusion hooked the boat just a little bit, but nice recovery as Team Talkin' Trash out accelerates coming into the harbor. Team Effusion is an MTI. Team Talkin' Trash is a skater. Team Warpaint is an Apache. 3 different manufacturers of catamarans. As Team Effusion with Paul Boudreau and Jay Muller make their way into the harbor. As we go on board Team Warpaint in the Superboat 750 class. One of the older boats in the fleet, a 1993 38-foot Apache. They won a national championship in 2009. And they wanted to offer a special thank you to Tommy Mullis and Dave McIntyre on the crew. Out in front, that is Team Fury, Fujitsu Fury, in the 850 class. Bob Vesper and Danny Crank. Off and on the throttles as they get to the bumpy part of the race course. Also a special thank you to their sponsors, Suncoast Sales and Service, CMS Motorsports, and Dillon Chemicals. Also a special thank you to Patty Raffa on the team. Off and on the throttles. Between 1 and 2, there were some big bumps. Got a little bit bumpier for race number 2. As they approach turn 2. As they come up alongside Talking Trash. They're now side by side with Talking Trash as they head towards turn 2. Let's watch how close they got again as they all approach turn 2. Warpaint moved into the lead. They go way on the outside. Effusion on the inside. Talking Trash squares it off a little tight. The two boats come very close together. Nice recovery by Effusion to avoid tapping the back of Talking Trash. As Talking Trash out accelerates heading into the harbor. Jimmy Winters and Vinny Rafisi. As we once again look at Team Effusion in their MTI. Paul Boudreau, Jay Muller. We'll see Jay out in the next race also as he runs with Billy Moff in the WHM Motorsports boat. This is the Wednesday race for the 29th running of the Key West World Championships for Superboat International. The Spirit of Qatar. That is boat number 96 of the Spirit of Qatar. Steve Curtis and Sheikh Hassan as we go back to looking at Team Fujitsu Fury as they're slowing down, coming off plane. Looks like they've got a problem in the Fury boat. Coming up right behind them, that looks like Mikasuki Indian Gaming. Billy Gluck and Brett Frischman in their twin 850 horsepower Fountain 42. They took the 525s out of that boat this year, put in the Mercury 850s. Boat moves right along. Team Cleveland Construction alongside Team Amsoil. That's a P1 boat running alongside a Super Cat. Team Amsoil with Bob Teague and Paul Whittier. Mercury 525s and a Douglas Skater. Between Bob Teague and Paul Whittier, these guys probably get more seat time in that boat than anybody else gets in a race boat all year long. This is Team TKO, recently moved up from P2 to P1. Big horsepower in their Subfin. Definitely showing they have the capacity to run in the P1 category. That's Walter Collins and Charles Groff. It's a 39-foot Subfin. That boat is fast. Accelerates very hard with those supercharged motors. Although we didn't see him at the milling area, this is J.D. Byrider. They had a problem at the start of the race. Despite seeing them working on it and both of the engines running, they couldn't get one of the motors running. So they started a lap down. The boat looks strong right now. Running in the Superboat 750 category. Also a skater. Tony Marcantonio and Mark Kowalski. As they go by Team TKO. Both Tony and Mark out of Ohio. His boat's very fast. He did very well last year in Key West. As we go on board, J.D. Byrider with Tony Marcantonio and Mark Kowalski. Compared to what everybody saw for testing on Tuesday, this water is surprisingly calm in Key West. You can tell the boat's not having to throttle at all on this particular part of the race course. Slowing down to go around the turn. A little bit of congestion behind him, though. As they squeeze out a boat and put him through the rooster tail. And here's a Mercury 525 powered 36-foot skater, all jacked up from Norway. Morten Lindemann and Harry Carson. Team all jacked up. Currently running in second place. They're running in Super Cat, trying to run down Team Amsoil. Identical boats. This team from Norway. The background, the front just looming off the race course. Been trying weather all week here in Key West for the 29th running of the Key West World Championships for Superboat International. Team Spirit of Qatar. Number 95, Steve Curtis and Sheikh Hassan. A 45-foot Victory, twin 900 horsepower Schema engines. All jacked up, looks like they're slowing down. Well off the pace, all jacked up. In their Mercury powered skater. As Team CRC with Mike DeFries and Johnny Tomlinson come blowing by. Followed by the other Spirit of Qatar boat. Your Team of Fusion has managed to get ahead of Talkin' Trash. Paul Boudreau and Jay Muller out ahead of Jimmy Winters. MTI versus Skater. By the end of the day, Jay Muller's going to have plenty of experience on this race course, as he's going to hop right out of this boat and go right into the WHM Motorsports boat with Billy Moth in our next race. Team Warpaint. In the Super Cat 750 category,